Today we're going to be looking at perimeter and how we can work out perimeter. So I'm going to go through some shortcuts for some shapes, and I'm also going to go through just a definition of what perimeter is. Hopefully this is revision from the last few years. So starting with a definition, perimeter. The perimeter of a closed figure is the total length around its boundary. So basically we get any closed shape. It has to be a closed shape. It can't be an open shape. Any closed shape that we have, we add up the length of all of its sides, and that's the perimeter. So for the shape that I've drawn in blue, the perimeter would be A plus B plus C plus D. Pretty straightforward. What we'll do now is we'll look at how we can work out perimeter and some shortcuts for perimeter for different shapes. First up is a triangle, and unfortunately there is no shortcut to work out the perimeter of a triangle. It's simply for this triangle with three sides, side A, side B and side C. The perimeter is simply A plus B plus C. Sorry, there's no shortcuts for this shape. Squares are a little bit different, and look, unfortunately my square doesn't look very good, but it's a square regardless. All four sides are exactly the same length. If I was to say that this side was A, that would mean that every side is A, because all the sides of a square are the same length. So for perimeter, I could do A plus A plus A plus A. Or I could take a shortcut. Instead of doing A plus A plus A plus A, I could remember my facts that a square has four sides and they're all equal. So instead of writing A plus A plus A plus A, I could simply do 4 times the length of each side, so 4A. If each side was 2 centimetres, the perimeter would be 4 times 2 is 8, or 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is also 8. We have some shortcuts for rectangles as well. So as we know for rectangles have 4 sides altogether, and each time we've got 2 sides to the same length. So the width is the same and the length is the same for both sides of length and width. For this, we could do perimeter equals A plus B plus A plus B. Or again, I could remember that I've got 2 sides that are length A and 2 sides that are length B, and I could simply do 2A plus 2B. To make our life a little bit easier, parallelograms, which are just a squashed rectangle, and kites have exactly the same formula for perimeter as a rectangle does. So remembering a rectangle, we could have done A plus B plus A plus B, or our shortcut, we could have done 2 times A because there's 2 sides of length A, and 2B because 2 sides of length B. So exactly the same formula as a rectangle for parallelograms and kites. Circles are a little bit different. We don't really have any straight edges that we can add up. So we've got to use some special formulas to work out the perimeter of a circle. It's also worth noting that we don't actually call the perimeter of a circle perimeter. We call it circumference. So if you see the word circumference, all that means is the perimeter of a circle. Okay, you don't need to worry about a brand new word. Circumference is just the perimeter of a circle. Before we can work out the perimeter of a circle, it's important to know that we must be able to label certain things on a circle. So starting at the centre of the circle with the white dot I've got here, if I draw a line to the end or to the edge of a circle, that's the radius. Okay, so the radius is from the centre of the circle to the edge of the circle. We also have one called the diameter. The diameter is from edge to edge. It's important that you can label both of these. So radius is from the centre of a circle to the edge of the circle, And the diameter goes from the edge of the circle to the other edge, but must cross the centre of the circle. A fun little fact for you that will help you. Radius is half the length of the diameter. Now, mathematicians have worked with circles quite a lot, and they've actually worked out that all circles, if we're finding out circumference or area, that we have to use a special symbol called pi. Pi is equal to roughly 3.14. We watched a video about that a few weeks ago, about how pi was an irrational number and goes on forever. So 3.14 is not the full number, it goes on forever. To work out the circumference of a circle, there's two different formulas, okay? And it depends on whether the picture or the diagram you've been given gives you a radius or a diameter. If you've been given the radius, your formula is 2 pi r, which is just 2 times by pi times by the length of the radius. If they've given you a diameter instead, it's a little bit easier. The formula is just pi d. So just pi times the diameter.